Good. Okay, I think we're ready. Okay, before we dive deep into this article by Radio Times talking about the best and worst of Doctor Who, I am going to, just talk about what I'm planning to do for the rest of the month in regards to Doctor Who content. I have a video coming out today at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, talking about Deep Breath, the first episode that Peter Capaldi appeared as the Doctor, besides his minimal appearance in Day of the Doctor, but that's neither here or there. But I had a lot of fun making the video. I went I had to go through like 13 test uploads because BBC did not like that I was using their video for this video, but had a lot of fun making it. I put a lot of love and time and sweat and tears into it, and I had a lot of fun with it. But as far as the next month is concerned, I'm working on a video for next week, talking about a classic Who story that I've always loved, featuring Patrick Troughton. There's also going to be the next couple Doctors that we're going to be focusing on are the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton, the ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston, the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, and the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith. So I'm really excited to show all those videos to you because I really love talking about Doctor Who, and I really love this show. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm basically just gonna read through the article, and then I'm just gonna give my opinion as I go. Yeah, this is this is fair. This is fair to put at the bottom. The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. It's like I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's like Moffat usually hits it pretty well with the Christmas specials, but this one just didn't land super well. I still think it has a lot of great moments. I think Matt Smith has a lot of great lines in this episode, and I really get what it was going for, but it didn't land super well. Okay, I have a problem with this one. I have a deep problem with this one. As someone who loves Series 8 heavily, honestly, I don't think that there is a single episode in that series that deserves to be at the bottom of the list, especially the caretaker, which I think is one of the funniest episodes of Doctor Who. And maybe that's a hot take, but I think it is really hilarious, and I love the dynamic between Danny Pink, Clara, and the Doctor, and him basically pretending to be the janitor, like the caretakers. It's really good. I like it a lot. I think you can especially do comedy really well with someone like Peter Capaldi, Janet Coleman, because they have really good chemistry, which I think is the big strong point of that series, in my opinion. Again, this is a crime. Time Heist is perfect. It's perfect. And anyone who denies that, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. I'm sorry. You're just wrong. One, this creature's awesome. It's terrifying. It's really interesting. Also, the idea of making a Doctor Who episode that's a heist is cool. It's a really good idea. It really makes sense. Also, this episode is really funny. At least like near the beginning, it's really funny. Like, robbing a bank. Gonna rob a bank. It's just, I'm sorry. I don't think you can put any Series 8 episode at the, I don't think you can put any Capaldi episode at the bottom of a list of Stephen Moffat episodes. And if you do that, you know, you completely misunderstand Moffat's body of work at Doctor Who, in my opinion, because his best work is with Capaldi, and if you deny that, you're just wrong. Hate to break it to you, but you're just kind of wrong. That's my opinion on that. I feel very strongly about that one. Time Heist it's a really good episode. Bells of St. John, I'll give it that. I'll give it that. Even though the motorcycle riding up to the side of the building was a cool bit. This is like the least interesting Clara introduction episode, because she has like 3. Asylum of the Daleks, the Snowman, and this episode, and I think just the way the cookie crumbled, him basically introducing Clara 3 times, one of them had to be the least interesting, and it just happened to be this one. Because, you know, it's in present day, and it's you know, we're just trying to get to the destination that we've been trying to get to all you know, ever since Asylum of the Daleks, and it's just it's kind of retreading ground that they've already covered twice. So, yeah. Also, the villain's not super memorable, especially compared with the rest of Series 7B, which I think, despite a lot of hate for it, I do think has some really strong outings. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And yes, they did say much hyped motorcycle chase. The motorcycle was cool. I liked Eleven's motorcycle. Okay, this is where we have a problem. This is where we have a problem. How do you get off putting the girl who died, one of the strongest episodes by Moffat, at 36? At 36? Do you just hate enjoying yourself? Do you what? I don't get it. Tell me how this makes sense. I need some logic here. Also these like mini reviews of each episode. What is this? What is this? I'm sorry. I can't do this. I can't do this with you. This episode is great. It's great. It's great. I think Shilder's a really good character. Shilder, or we can call her Me. Also, it's a really cool setting for this episode. I love the whole, like, you know, Norse gods by way of aliens is a really interesting plot development. And also, just the whole thing of the Doctor realizing why he got this face. Because he's the Doctor, and he saves people. Like, that is such a cool plot beat. I'm so mad that you... 36? 36? And I'm just going to tell you right now, I already saw that's at number 1, and, you know, it makes absolutely no sense. It just doesn't. Okay. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. They just don't like fun. This is a nice episode. It's just a nice episode, and it's really good. It's a really good basically, I wouldn't say successor. It's a really good punctuation statement on everything that happened in the Husbands of River song, especially that final scene, and basically seeing the Doctor having to come to terms with the death of River and basically trying to feel like himself again, trying to believe in himself again, which is really special. And also just like, I like how much of it is a dedication to Stephen Moffat's love of comic books, which he does really well. Like, they say here that it's like the effects are subpar. Have you watched Doctor Who? Have you watched Doctor Who? The effects are subpar. What did you expect? I'm sorry, I just can't take that criticism seriously. And also just like, I can't do this with you. I can't do this with you. I just think this is a really sweet episode. This is like a comfort food episode. And I think they had a lot of fun with it. And I never thought, like, in any universe that we'd get a superhero centric Doctor Who episode. And it meant a lot to me as someone who is both a comic book fan and a Doctor Who fan. So it was really nice to see. But we're moving on. We're moving on. Okay, I feel complicated about this one. I think the Wedding of River song is a really strong episode. It's a really strong episode. It's a very messy episode. Do I think that it deserves to be at 34? I'd probably put it a little bit higher, but not like too much higher. It is a really, really solid episode. The ending's nice. It's a very Moffat ending. It's a very Moffat ending in that, you know, everything is okay by the end. Like, you know, all of the tension of the season, of the idea that the Doctor is gonna die, and the Doctor's gonna die by River's hand. I'd say I prefer, like, in regards to, like, what came before it, I think A Good Man Goes to War is a much stronger episode. But I still think it's a really solid episode, and I have a lot of fun with it. I mean, I know a lot of people have problems with, like, Series 6, but I think it's a really strong season, in my opinion. It's definitely very messy, but it's very strong. Again, how is this at 33? This is a really good episode. As I said, I am very passionate about Series 8. I think it's one of the best seasons of Doctor Who. I think it's a pretty perfect season, too. Sorry, I'm drinking some coffee. Also, how can you tell me that you don't want to see the Doctor go into a Dalek like it's, you know, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? This is a cool concept. This is a very cool concept, and they milk the, like, you know, the philosophy and psychology out of it really well. And I love the idea of a good Dalek. You know, these like murderous killing machines, these genocidal monsters, and there's this broken Dalek that hates Daleks, and that's fascinating. It is really fascinating. That's a really interesting concept, especially considering the whole idea, the whole like theme of 12, specifically in Series 8, is, am I a good man? And when you ask that question, what do you put him against? You put him against the worst, absolutely worst thing in the universe that's decided to be kind. That's really interesting. So I don't know how you could put that low, because that's a fascinating concept. I mean, that is Doctor Who, man. That's Doctor Who. That is Doctor Who at its best, absolute best. Okay, now we got the Husbands of River Song. How is this here? It should be higher. It should be much higher. It should be so high. It should be the top half, man. It should be top half. This episode it's a masterpiece. I'm just gonna say that right now. It's a masterpiece. And I will not take anything lower than that. We got the first half, which is like incredibly comedic, really funny. Some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen in the show. With the Doctor has to pretend not to be the Doctor. He gets to do the TARDIS entry, reaction, which was so hilarious. Peter Capaldi unironically has the best TARDIS reaction I've ever seen. It's so good. And also I like seeing the perspective of, so we have the marriage of the Doctor and River in Series 6, but we never really get to see the aftermath, the what now, how do they feel about each other. And I, like a lot of other people, wasn't always entirely convinced of their relationship, and I think this episode does it for me. And it's kind of tragic that we only got one episode with Capaldi and Alex Kingston, because I think they had better chemistry than her and Matt Smith, in my opinion. Because I don't know, Capaldi just has like the best chemistry with everybody, in the way of he has so anti-chemistry that he has the best chemistry. I don't know how to say that, but he just has the best chemistry with everybody. Like, he's not, he doesn't have like the Tennant charisma. He just has something much more powerful. And I don't know how to put a word to it, but he just works well with everybody in such a visceral way. And then the ending of this episode is so beautiful. It comes up in a new suit. It gives her this sonic screwdriver. It's cool that Moffat got to basically finalize the journey to the library that he started all those years ago in Series 4 with Silence in the Library. And he created River Song, which I think is probably his one of his greatest contributions to Doctor Who was River's Song, and I think it's just really nice to see that he got to finish that story. It just made me really happy to see that. And the Singing Towers of Darillium did not disappoint. Oh yeah, the Pyramid at the End of the World. I know the Monks trilogy is divisive. It is very divisive amongst all Doctor Who fans. A lot of people think it's stupid, or that it's nonsense or whatever. And I think we got we got most of them next to each other. I really like the Monks trilogy. I think it's really strong. I think it's like Moffat storytelling at its best. And I was just really fascinating. I especially really liked the whole like virtual reality doctor episode, which was like so trippy, man, so weird, and I really like it. I think the Monks are a really interesting idea, and all of the politics of it all, like the idea of consent. They have to consent to their takeover, and then diving into the propaganda of it all. It's a really good story. I love it a lot. Okay, how did they do this? Hellbent and The Time of the Doctor are in the middle? In the middle. This is 29 and 28. How do you do that? How do you do that? Especially The Time of the Doctor. Like, Hellbent is a little bit messy, so I can forgive it if they put it down a little bit. But 29, I don't buy that. I don't buy that, because Hellbent is still a phenomenal episode. Gallifrey looks gorgeous, and also it's following up one of the greatest episodes of the show, Heaven Sent. So it's just like, what are you doing? I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry if this whole stream is just me knocking this article and the people who wrote it. But like, what are you doing? Do you guys just not like Stephen Moffat? Because you don't seem to love his best episodes. I just don't get it. I just really don't get it. Yeah. I don't get it. Okay. We're just gonna move past those because it's just gonna make me too mad. Okay, Deep Breath. Deep Breath is actually the video that just went live 15 minutes ago. So if you want, you can just go and watch that instead of watching this stream where I'm just angry the whole time. I think this is a solid placing, solid-ish placing for this. Given it's the first episode of Series 8. A slightly less memorable story doesn't... Wow. Okay, they get this right. The dynamic between Claire and the Doctor is the epicenter of the story. And yes, they have chemistry. Capaldi and Jenna Coleman, I think they probably have the best chemistry of any companion pair in the show, well, at least in New Who, besides Catherine Tate and David Tennant. So yeah, it was a really great episode. Slightly jarring cameo. That's the point. It's supposed to be a surprise. But yeah, this is a really good episode. And I loved making the video about it. So if you're curious about it, please watch the video. I had a lot of fun making it. Okay. Now we got the problem children right here. Twice Upon a Time and A Good Man Goes to War in the 20s? In the 20s. You know, I'm just not sure what they're going to decide to put in the top 10 if they keep putting these phenomenal episodes so low. Because I think Twice Upon a Time is the best Regeneration episode. I think it's one of the best Christmas specials, period. The best Christmas special, period, is A Christmas Carol. I'm saying that right now. There's no competition. But Twice Upon a Time is phenomenal. Just from start to finish. It's a celebration of Doctor Who. It's a celebration of the Doctor. Not just Capaldi. Like, it's just a celebration of the Doctor as a character. In a really beautiful way. And it feels like the proper crescendo that Peter Capaldi's run deserves. And it's so well done. It's so well done. It's so beautiful. And I just love it. It's just a really nice episode. Also, 12's Regeneration is 12's Regeneration is one of, if not the best regeneration of the show. I also gotta say I really love 13's Regeneration too. We've had some really good regenerations recently. And yeah, I don't know how you put Good Man Goes to War this low. I mean, it's not like as low as it's not as egregious as it could be. But I think A Good Man Goes to War. It's one of the best episodes of its series, of its season. I think A Town Called Mercy is a little bit better, but A Good Man Goes to War, I think it's a pretty top-notch episode. So I think it should be higher, probably. The Snowman. I really like The Snowman. It's actually it was actually the first Doctor Who episode I ever saw. Which is, it's a funny thing. Because it's such a weird episode to be your favorite. Because it's like, you know, you're just like dipping into the show in between when his companions died, and this is kind of the middle child of the like Clara introduction episodes. So it's a funny episode to get into the show at. But I think it's a weirdly really good introduction to Doctor Who, given like the mystery of it all. Richard E. Grant is fantastic per usual. I think the Great Intelligence is a really interesting villain. The snowmen look awesome and, you know, really scary. Also, Victorian era London is so cool. Also, the idea that the Doctor lives on a cloud. What is more Doctor Who than that? I always like the idea of, you know, the Doctor is just this, magic old man that, puts things right when they're wrong. Like, that's Doctor Who right there. Okay, now we got the pilot. Again, this is too low. Honestly, I think anything Series 10, should be higher, because I think Series 10 is a perfect series. There's really only one episode that is a little, less than perfect for me, but it's packed in between a bunch of phenomenal episodes, so I can forgive it. Not talking about the pilot, it's an episode a little bit later on about the Empress of Mars, I think this is a fantastic episode. It's a really good introduction. I just love how, I love how good an introduction to the show it is. Again, this is another really good entry point for Doctor Who. This is like Capaldi in just like prime Doctor Who goodness. And I mean, Bill is a top 3 companion. Bill might be my favorite companion, period. I'm not sure. But she is just the best. Just the best. Pearl Mackie is so good. So good. And also, I just love that they kept Nardole. I'm really glad that they kept him. Because if they hadn't, there would be a precious piece of the dynamic missing. And I think it's one of the best TARDIS team dynamics ever. And it's also reminiscent of, classic Who TARDIS teams. Because I think once we got into New Who, the TARDIS teams tended to be a lot smaller than what we're used to in classic Who. Which, classic Who TARDIS teams were pretty large. Which I don't know why it ended up being that way, but a lot of the time in New Who, it's just like one person. It's just one person. I mean, like, in Series 1, we got an extra person, like, every once in a while. We had, we had that one doofus from, what was it, Utah? Or whatever, from the Dalek episode that, like, he's such an idiot. It was like, his name was Adam or something. He was really stupid. And I never liked that guy. He got what he deserved, I'll say that. Really don't like that guy. But, you also got Captain Jack, from the Doctor Dances Then On. And he was a really good a really good addition to the show, despite John Barrowman's behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, it's it's not something you see a lot in New Who, which is really nice. The Magician's Apprentice, The Witch's Familiar, really great episode. I'm glad this is deeper into the 20s. I don't know why it doesn't seem like whoever wrote this article, which it seems like it's a collaborative article for some reason. It's a weird way to structure an article. But it looks like they don't really like Capaldi's Doctor Who all that much, or they much prefer Eleven's Doctor Who. I don't know. But it's just weird how deeply hidden these things are. Okay, I do have a problem with this. This shouldn't be this high. I like Let's Kill Hitler. I do. I like it. But it's not good enough to be over this or this or any of the things below. I'm sorry, it's not that good to be over what the husbands of River Song. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, that, I'm sorry, Let's Kill Hitler that's bottom half. That's bottom half. You're not gonna convince me on that one. It's a funny little episode, but it's not so good that I would put it over episodes like Husbands of River Song, The Pilot, and, Magician's Apprentice, and which is familiar. It's really just not, it's not that level. It's a dumb, fun episode, but that's really all it is. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Last Christmas, I think this is deserving. Last Christmas is a really fun and interesting episode. The Dream Crabs, really great horror monster. Having Nick Frost as Santa is one of the best casting choices in all of Doctor Who. And I think it was a really good kind of addendum to the whole tragedy of what happened in Death in Heaven. And I think they needed that to kind of punctuate that whole season. And also I think it furthered the arc of how kind of toxic the Doctor and Clara's relationship is, while also, being like they need each other. Which is really interesting. And also it has a really great cast. It's a really good Christmas special. So yeah, this deserves to be here. Dark Water, Death in Heaven. Phenomenal finale. I actually watched this in theaters. They released both episodes back to back in theaters. One of the best choices I've ever made. Yeah, this absolutely deserves to be this high. Maybe even a little bit higher too. These are great episodes. Michelle Gomez, man, the best. Dare I say the best master? Dare I say that? I do really love Delgado. And I do think John Simmons is really good. But there's just something special to Michelle Gomez's portrayal of the Master, or should I say Missy. And I really love their dynamic in these two episodes. And also just the approach of Dark Water, being Danny Pink is dead, and we have to go to hell. That is the coolest premise of any Doctor Who episode, to just be that. And I think that's just genius right there. And also the whole, throwing the TARDIS keys into a volcano. These are two really great episodes all around. And I'm really glad I got to see it in theaters too, because it's a lot of fun. I got to watch it with my dad, which was really nice. Zygon Inversion, another phenomenal episode. Okay, you don't put The Beast Below over the Zygon Inversion or these two. I hate to be that guy. I really don't want to be that guy. The Beast Below is really good. It's really good, but the premise of the episode has been done before and done better, in my opinion. So don't come after me for that. I think it's a really interesting episode. I do. I just think it's a little weak, writing-wise, to be number 17. And again, I do really like it a lot. I think, like, the iconography of the, like, you know, the angry faces, the, like, and the idea of, like, the choice between abdicate and, forget are really interesting devices. But the concept has been done in Doctor Who in other episodes, and I think better. And there are better Moffat episodes than this one that are below it. Like Zygon Inversion. This is better. This is just better. It's much, much more well written. Stronger script, tighter episode. And it says a lot more than The Beast Below does. So yeah. Name of the Doctor. I don't know. How is the Time of the Doctor lower than the Name of the Doctor? I do think the Name of the Doctor is really good. I like the whole trilogy, but it's the weakest of the trilogy. So I don't know how you put this over the Time of the Doctor, in my opinion, because it's a super messy, pretty weak episode. It's pretty, heavy-handed with everything that it's doing, and I think that it's exemplative of what Moffat is not good at, and it's just a little too messy to be number 16. Like, remember, this is over the Husbands of River Song. This is over the Zygon Inversion. This is over Darkwater, Death in Heaven. This is over the Time of the Doctor. I don't think this deserves to be here. It should be much lower. Silent Daleks is good. I think the whole Oswin is a Dalek. It's a really great twist. Though could be lower. Not too much lower, but could be lower. This is fitting to be here. The Angels Take Manhattan is a really great episode. Very emotional episode. Literally no comments here. Phenomenal episode. Another phenomenal episode. This is the best Christmas special, by the way. I watch this every Christmas. It's beautiful. It's kind of, there's something frightening about the idea, about the lengths that the Doctor would go to. That he would completely change this, crappy old man to save his friends. But at the end of it all, it's beautiful. Halfway out of the dark. Listen, what can I say? It's phenomenal. It interacts with the idea of, like, the monster on the bed, which I think is very consistent with Moffat's ongoing theme of, like, fairy tales, which I think that is, like, entangled with. And also, I think Moffat concept episodes where he just lets the actors play end up being the best, especially with Capaldi. And it's really well done. I also really love how interactive it is with the Doctor's past, which I don't think we get to do a lot. And it's really well done. And we get to see a bigger picture of the Doctor and what he's scared of. The Pandorica opens, the Big Bang. Yeah, I think we're getting a picture of what Radio Times sees as the best of Moffat, which is 11. It's a great finale. Yeah, I'd say this is fitting. I think the Big Bang is a little I think some of the concepts at play are stronger in other finales. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I think it definitely deserves to be here. It's a really great two-parter finale. Now, The Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon, a little high. I do think these are really good episodes, but I wouldn't really put them over, say, anything from, like, Series 10 or, like, Series 8. I think they're still really good episodes, but this is valid. I think this two-parter is, like, some of the best stuff that Moffat's written. Just a phenomenal two-parter. Now, would I put this over the majority of 12 stuff? No. But we know where this article's bias lies. But yeah, it's a really good episode. The Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone. I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think this deserves to be here. It should be lower. I think it's a fine two-parter. It just doesn't really land that well for me. I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting addition to, our catalog of Weeping Angel stories. But I don't think it's so good that it deserves to be in the top 10 Moffat episodes ever. Because it doesn't really have that much of an emotional, plateau for me. And it doesn't say that much to be number 8. Also, there are better Weeping Angels episodes. Like, Angels Take Manhattan is better. Blink is better. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to kick those episodes to the curb on this one. Yeah. Okay. This deserves to be here, right here. No comments. This deserves to be here. Though I'd couple Twice Upon a Time with this right here because it's like a perfect trilogy. Yeah, this is great. It's phenomenal. I think this is Moffat at its best. Right here. This too deserves to be here. as we know, Heaven Sent is one of the greatest episodes of Doctor Who, period. Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't put it at number 1. The Empty Child, The Doctor Dances, fantastic 2-parter. I mean, it's some of the best Ninth Doctor moments in these episodes. Yeah. Definitely deserves to be here. The Day of the Doctor, yeah, I gotta agree with that one. The 11th Hour, Blink. And this is where we have a problem. This shouldn't be in the top 10. This shouldn't be in the top 20. I'm sorry. Also, how is it that we have... Let's see. How is it we have four Moffat episodes from RTD's run in the top 10? I feel like the top 10 should be focused on Moffat's run of Doctor Who, considering he was a writer and someone who ran Doctor Who. I think it's a little silly to pack in half of the top 10 with episodes that he only wrote. Also, The Girl in the Fireplace isn't that good. I do like the episode a lot. I think it's a really cool concept. And it has some really good emotional weight with, David Tennant as the Doctor. But it is ultimately probably one of Moffat's weaker episodes. And that's just a fact. And it doesn't deserve to be here. Period. It shouldn't be over most of the episodes on this list. I don't know how you could put this over Blink, Day of the Doctor, I don't know how you put it over Heaven Sent, or World Enough in Time and The Doctor Falls. Like, I'm baffled. I'm sorry, this is not Stephen Moffat's very finest contribution to Doctor Who. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, it's weak. This whole article reeks of people who are trying to write about Stephen Moffat Doctor Who without watching Stephen Moffat Doctor Who. At least they haven't watched it in like 5 years. It feels like echoes of like what they thought that they thought. Yeah. That's what I think. Go watch Boom tonight. And you know why? Because Boom will be better than Girl in the Fireplace. Go away. I'm leaving. Watch Doctor Who, please. The good episodes. Don't watch The Girl in the Fireplace. Watch Boom. Watch World Enough in Time. Watch The Doctor Falls. Watch Husbands of River Song. Well, bye. Batman Ultra 7's leaving now. Your cranky old uncle is drunk on internet fuel.